Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Friday, December 4th. Over the last 7 days, we've had very little precipitation across the Great Basin. The image on the left and the image on the right shows the percent of normal precipitation for the last 2 weeks. Again, very little precipitation. The only areas that have even seen a little bit of precipitation has been in the far north and over some of the higher terrain of Nevada and Utah. Looking at our snowfall the last 72 hours, really haven't seen any snowfall across the area, just a little bit in the Uinta Basin being clipped by these systems passing by to the east. And then looking at our snowpack, our snow depth, you can see there's some snow up into central and eastern Idaho and Wyoming. And these areas are near normal for the time of year. Everywhere further south where we have some light snow in the Sierra and also in the central and northern Utah mountains is well below normal for the time of year. Our satellite image from this morning shows a weak area of low pressure moving into the northern areas of the Great Basin, which will drop south going through the weekend, and then a stronger trough of low pressure, which will begin to impact the area mid to late next week. Otherwise, generally sunny skies, temperatures near normal for the time of year. Looking at the weather pattern for later today, again, we have generally a ridge of high pressure with just a weak area of low pressure moving into the north. Generally, ventilation index will remain fairly poor across the region with poor dispersion in all areas. As we look at the transport winds, you can see, along with that poor dispersion, very light wind flow under that ridge of high pressure. We do have some breezy north winds over parts of southern areas of the Great Basin, but most gusts will generally be in the 20s and 30s. We will have a little bit better dispersion in the far south, but still generally poor to moderate with poor dispersion further north and low mixing heights. On Saturday, another trough of low pressure moves into the Pacific Northwest a little bit stronger. This will allow winds to pick up a little bit over northern and western areas and also bring some cloud cover late in the day Saturday into Sunday and even some showers to the far north. We will see a slight improvement in the dispersion, mainly over northeast California, but that will also move into northwest Nevada as we move late into Saturday and into Sunday. Looking at our winds for Saturday, again, you can see winds pick up a little bit over parts of southern Idaho into northwest Nevada and the Sierra. Most gusts will generally be in the 20s or into the low 30s, so nothing overly strong, but this will at least allow dispersion to improve a little bit in some of those regions. Otherwise, mixing heights remaining low over much of the region, moderate in the south, and then increasing a little bit over northwest Nevada into parts of Idaho as those winds increase. On Sunday, that area of low pressure starts to develop and drop south across the Great Basin. Saturday night into Sunday is where we could see some precipitation in the far north. So parts of Idaho, maybe even far northern Nevada, will get some light precipitation, not looking at anything overall heavy, however, just some light showers in the far north. As this low also drops south, we'll see maybe some breezy north winds over western areas of the Great Basin, so dispersion across parts of Nevada will improve later in the weekend. Looking at some of those gusty winds, again, you can see generally moderate winds over much of the northern half of Nevada, some gusts possibly in the 20s and 30s over parts of western Nevada and into northern California. So we will see those winds increase a little bit. Mixing heights will remain generally moderate over much of Nevada into the Arizona Strip and western Utah, and over the north and far east, they will continue to remain poor. Utah forecast clearing index is indicated here. Again, you can see a slight improvement as we go into Saturday and Sunday over parts of southwest Utah and also into parts of the central mountains, but still generally on the lower end, so don't expect a significant increase to the clearing index going through the weekend. Any precipitation we see with this first system will be fairly light, mainly confined to California and Oregon, but will possibly bring some light showers into Idaho or northwest Nevada. As we go into early next week, this area of low pressure continues to drop south. We see a return of drier weather with lighter winds with another weak ridge of high pressure dominating the Great Basin early next week. We will see a little bit more improvements to dispersion in the southern areas of the Great Basin as that area of low pressure drops south, and we see some breezy easterly winds. Moving into Tuesday, the low pressure continues to drive south and west off the California and Baja coast. However, we will see another trough of low pressure move into the Pacific Northwest, and this has a better potential to bring some clouds again to the north and possibly some showers to Idaho. Moving into Wednesday and Thursday is where we'll be watching a stronger area of low pressure approach the west coast. So by Thursday and approaching the weekend, we will see that trough move into the northern half of the Great Basin, and this system has a better potential to bring showers a little bit further south into Nevada and even parts of northern Utah as well as Idaho. So possibly late next week, we will see a stronger system move into the Great Basin, bringing us a better chance of showers and cooler temperatures. We'll also see some gusty winds associated with this system from mid to late week. Nothing on the precipitation map for days 4 and 5. This only takes us through Wednesday afternoon. So again, we're looking at later in the week towards the weekend for a better chance of precipitation. The 8 to 14 day outlook shows generally near normal temperatures or cooler conditions to the east and generally below normal precipitation, taking us from December 7th or 11th through the 17th. So we will continue to watch this. We are looking at the models trying to show a shift in the pattern going from mid to late December. So we will continue to watch this pattern. We could see a better potential of at least some cooler weather and some showers as we go later in the month. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Monday for the latest updates.